This is probably one of the most important things that you need to know. I really think that this is important, and they don't teach you this in school. And it starts now. It starts right now as you're coming into the age to be able to work. And I felt like I maybe could add a little bit of knowledge of my past to help you get there. So if you don't know who I am, when I was in high school, I did everything I could to in the legal field, and I wanted to make sure that that was where my path led me. So I interned for a judge in high school. I went to college to do political science, and then I went straight to law school. I graduated from Brigham Young University, and then I went to law school down in Houston, and I became a lawyer. I never thought that I would then become a boss. But in my career, when I started, I worked for multiple companies, and I recognized that I was never going to be able to shine or become the person that I knew I could be if I didn't go out on my own. There was just too many obstacles with the fact that the legal field in Utah, especially 15 years ago, was very, very male dominated. There was just not a lot of space for women of my caliber and what I believe I'm capable of to stand up and shine. So in 2014, so 10 years now, we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, I started Coil Law, which is my first business. And I've grown it now to be the largest family law firm in the state. I then 4 years ago started Moxie Law, which is the first female-founded personal injury firm in the state of Utah. I also own an online tech firm called simpleending.com, which allows you to get attorney quality documents for your divorce, all online if you can't afford or don't want to hire an attorney. And I'm also an author. I've written a book, No One Dies from Divorce. I feel like now that I've been a boss for over 10 years, first of all, being an employee for, the first 15 years of my careers, and now being a boss and an employer, I feel like I have a lot to add and share with you guys about what it means for you to land the job. Why get a job? It's interesting because when I was in high school, it was like, go to work. I had to pay for the things I wanted to do. I didn't have wealthy parents, and it was get a job. I did, very well in school. And then I also was able to work to pay for some of that. But I find that me being able to work early on really gave me a sense of purpose, a sense of independence, meaning I had my own money to be able to buy the things that I wanted to buy. It taught me responsibility because right in when I was 15, getting my first job at the West Jordan outdoor pool, that was my first job in the snack bar. I had to learn how to get there on time, and the responsibilities of money, and it really and authority. I mean, if you guys don't, in your generation now, sometimes I think people struggle with the fact that you're going to have a boss and you're going to have somebody over you. You're going to learn really, really young that you're always going to have somebody there telling you what to do. Even as a boss myself now, there's always somebody that you're reporting to, or I guess going to the next level for. And it's really important to learn those skills when you're young because it's going to help you in life further on. I mean, obviously you want to learn responsibility. Time management is one of the most important things you can learn, and then build skills for your future career. I was a lifeguard, so I worked at the snack bar, watching all those lifeguards, and I thought that would be fun, sitting in the sun. So I did the necessary work to become a lifeguard. That got me all the way through my junior year of college, and then I became a waitress. And I made the money so that when I was able to finish school, I was, I think, $10,000 in debt compared to, the thousands and thousands that I would have if I wouldn't have gotten a job. So where to look for jobs? A lot of people is like, and my 16-year-old daughter is looking at this right now. She just applied to a coffee shop. She thought that would be kind of a fun job, but she didn't even get an interview. And the reason why is because she told the person she couldn't work until July. And I laughed when she told me this because I said, a business that is looking for an employee isn't going to just put off. And so when you're looking for jobs, it's important to understand like what you can offer, but also what you can give time-wise, and be able to set your boundaries to what you're able to do. You want to know that for yourself so that when you're looking for jobs and then applying for jobs, you have those boundaries, you can relay them to the job site, and your expectations then are going to be met, and then the person that is interviewing you, they can see if their needs can be met. But to look for jobs, it's easy. Local businesses, retail, restaurants, cafes are going to be posted locally. Online job boards are really, really important, like Indeed or LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile right now in high school, get one. It's a great way to start, but it also allows you to kind of build your resume. And you don't even think that. You're like, why is that building your resume? Well, because you put your resume on it. You put where you've worked, you put your skills. It gives you an opportunity to also be, reviewed online. So LinkedIn is a really good starting place to create a professional online account. Let's talk about the most important thing about applying for a job and then getting it. It's going to be crafting a winning resume. And I can tell you that I have seen resumes from one spectrum to the other, some that are very, very poor, and then some that are just absolutely A plus 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 plus. Now, I'm a lawyer, I own a law firm. I definitely understand that there is going to be a different level of resume for a paralegal or a legal assistant and my attorneys. And I'm well aware of that. But that doesn't mean my legal assistant can't have a darn good resume. And you want to start learning what you need to do to build a good resume. One of the things you want to do is you want to keep it simple and one page. It was funny because I pulled up my resume today and I was going to show you guys all it. But mine is not really a resume anymore. It's more what we call the CV. It's a curriculum vitae. It's 5 pages long because it has all my speaking engagements, all my awards, all my jobs over my career. But what we want to do is when you're crafting a resume right now, you want to keep it simple. You want to keep it to one page. You want to highlight your school activities, your volunteer work, and your skills. When you start thinking about it in high school, you start thinking about what you want to do on your resume to get into college. And if you haven't started thinking about this, you are probably too late. You need to be thinking about this 8th grade, 8th grade, to start building that college application. But one of the things they really want to look at is they want to see service hours. They want to see what you're doing out in the community. Women Who Succeed is an amazing thing to put on your resume, which I think is why a lot of you are here, because you're volunteering, you're doing a lot of service hours, you're learning a ton of skills, and then you're going to be able to put that you are a participant. And then, heaven forbid, you win one of the scholarships. That looks amazing on your resume to be able to put. So you want to start there. You want to use action words. And ladies, I didn't have ChatGPT when I was a kid. You all have that now. So if you have a resume and you have not checked it for grammar and you have not done the necessary work to make sure it's written well, then shame on you. Because if I get a poorly written resume, the first thing I think of is you could have cut and pasted this in ChatGPT and made it better, and they would have fixed it. So I'm not saying create your resume from ChatGPT. You got to make it truthful, because trust me, I fact check resumes, but you want to be able to make it look good. And then there's action words that are really good when you're describing like what you did to help in your last job, or what you did as a teacher's aide, or what you did as the captain of the soccer team. All of that is really, really important. One of the most important things I want to know from a resume is how you do time management. So put a skill section: time management, organize, a go-getter, a natural leader. Those are really good words that employers want to know. Is that how you describe yourself? One of the things I love on resumes is hobbies. I am always of the suggestion, please put a hobby line. You love to travel, you love Disneyland, you love, soccer, or you're a Utah Jazz fan. The reason why is I can't tell you how many times I've been in an interview and we've been able to have a conversation starter with a hobby that we have in common. And that's really important for me to feel like we can have an actual conversation about your life and what we're doing, and what you're interested in. Because I don't know if you know this, but as an employer, I can't ask you a lot of personal questions. I can't ask you if you've been sick or if you've been in the hospital. I can't ask you why you left your other job. There are things that I can't ask, but I want to get to know you better. So if you offer a little bit of that information for me, then I'm able to start that conversation, and it really helps me get to know you a little better, to calm your nerves at the beginning of the interview. And then we can kind of get into the tough questions. This is very important. You have to write a great cover letter. A lot of people are like, why do I have to write a cover letter? I'm just going to apply to the job. I can tell from your cover letter if you did not read my job description. And if you didn't read my job description, or you don't know what my law firm does, I don't want to interview you. I am a divorce attorney. If I don't feel like you are interested in doing divorce law, I am not going to interview you, because it is a very hard and specific type of law. So that's what a cover letter is for. It does not have to be long. It does not have to be in detail, but I want you to tell me why you want my job, that you show me that you looked at the job listing and that you're like, this is something I'm interested in. My skills would be very good for what you've listed. And keep it brief, because trust me, I don't read the long ones, and keep it professional. When you're applying to a ton of jobs, especially if you're applying to like the same job, like say a divorce attorney applying to lots of different firms, I can tell if you didn't read my firm. And if you don't want to come, if you're not applying specifically to my firm because you've read about Coil Law and what we do and how we're different, I don't want to waste my time on an interview with you. They're very, very important. And when you don't have job experience, they're even more important, because I need to know why I should take a chance on somebody that's never had a job, or whose only experience is being a teacher aide but has never worked for a paying job. You have to tell me why I should give you your first job. Now, preparing for the interview. This is my favorite part, because it's really important. And first of all, you want to dress neatly and appropriately. Please research the company. Please do not go to your interview and not know what this company does. You'll look like a fool. The first question I ask is, why do you want to work for Coil Law? And if they don't know what Coil Law is, if they haven't read our mission statement I can tell immediately. And it's just off-putting. Like I'm just spending time out of my day to interview you. You should take the time, because you want the job, to show me that you researched the company. You want to practice common interview questions. We ask them all. What's 3 positives you do? What's 3 negatives? How is your time management skills? Are you a better writer? Are you better at grammar? Like we ask these common questions. And again, have ChatGPT write them out for you, because they will, and go over them with somebody out loud so you can practice that. Be on time. If you are late to an interview, it is a bad sign, because I'm telling you, I don't want somebody that's late to work. Be on time. Be early. It looks good. And then bring copies of your resume, because some old school attorneys don't print it out, or they want it in front of them, and it just looks better. Me, I don't need it. I'm good with computers, but if you bring one, it looks good. You don't know me, right? So don't come in the interview and just assume that I'm going to be okay with you swearing or talking about a religion. Or you need to be prepared, like, to be super professional, because you don't know if that's going to be offensive to me or to somebody else. If you don't know the answer, and this is one of the common problems, is you just need to breathe. And you need to say, that's a really good question. Let me think about it. And if you can't come up with the answer, just say, you know what? I really don't know. And I would love to think about it, and I can get back to you at a later time. One of this example. So I'm on social media. I don't call myself an influencer, but I have quite a following now. We're interviewing for a new social media person, somebody to help me with my videos. I own multiple companies and multiple channels for social media. And we had this girl come in, and we were doing some interviews. And the first thing I asked, I was like, what do you think about my Instagram page? And what would you do to change it? 3 of the 5 interviews that we did, the 3 people said, I did not look at your Instagram. You are interviewing for my social media page, and you couldn't come with constructive criticism or feedback of what you are excited to do to help build our brand. That's off-putting. So that's one of the things I want you guys to remember. It's really important to prepare. Know who you're interviewing with. Even if it's a pool, you go in there and you be like, this is why I'm going to be the best lifeguard, because I was able to never swim in my life to all of a sudden passing the test. I passed the CPR test on my first. I'm really attentive. I have younger siblings who allow, I babysit. I feel I'm very responsible. I have very good grades. Right there, like, I got the job, and you can too. Overcoming nervousness is really important. You guys, there's a confidence building strategies that you can do to really build on who you are. I don't want to say I've always been a confident person, but I've always been able to show I'm confident. Hear the difference of that. I have struggled with a lot of my internal dialogue of, am I good enough? Do they like me? But I have gotten to the point where I can look at somebody and they will never know that. I have argued in front of the Utah Supreme Court with my legs shaking and me feeling like I was going to throw up. And you can listen back to that audio and they would never hear that in my voice. And the reason why is because I learned techniques to overcome nervousness, and I prepared better than everybody. I knew it. I knew my stuff. I knew what I needed to do. So even though I went in there nervous, I was able to overcome that. If you have a nervous tick, you have a stutter, you clear your throat, you scratch your face. My daughter scratches her face. She touches her face. This is the time to start practicing in front of the mirror and watching you do that to help yourself overcome that. Mind over matter can get you to the place where you remember, okay, I'm gonna put my hands in my lap and I'm gonna hold them so that I don't touch my face. And it's little tricks like that that can really help you look confident, even if inside you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm worthy of doing this. So the interviews, do's and don'ts. Do always make eye contact. You want to smile. Give a firm handshake. Like, listen, learn to go in and do a full handshake. Like, none of the, like, oh, or the limp hand. And the reason why I think that is because I look at it as we're women, we are strong women. Like, we have a trail that we're blazing. Go in there as if you were the man. Does that make sense? So the man's going to stick his hand out. And I think that we as women should be able to have the confidence to do. I don't want to be a man. I love being a woman and I love everything I've accomplished as a woman, but I'm just saying, go in there with that kind of confidence. Be polite. It's not a time to criticize the person interviewing you, right? And answer clearly. Just be clear on your answers, slow down, breathe. And I know that that's sometimes so hard, but don't arrive late. I will just automatically say no. Don't use slang and don't badmouth like people that that have worked there or other people. Like keep it professional and keep it really, really positive. Like I said, you don't know me. Sometimes it might feel like, they'll be fine with that, but until you don't know. And you're trying to get a job, which means you're trying to make yourself look the most positive person that you can. So what are employers looking for? Well, they're looking for a positive attitude and enthusiasm. They're looking for reliability and punctuality. They're looking for teamwork and communication skills. Unfortunately, the younger generation has got a lot of work to learn on communication because you guys don't communicate as much. Everything is through text message. And so it really has, I think, hindered the ability to have a direct communication or a conversation. So you have to work on your communication skills because it's not going away. Depending on what you want to do in life. I mean, lawyers have to communicate better than anybody, doctors, engineers, there are so many different teachers. There's so many different jobs that need good communication skills, and it's a skill that you should be working on right now. If you have a problem with the class, I'm not going to help you. I'm not helping my daughter. I want her to go communicate. We'll talk about some points or things that can help her, but I want to teach my daughter that communication is so important. And then after the interview, this is really important. Just send a thank you email. Email's so easy. It used to be that you'd send handwritten notes. No, I don't need that. But I want an email letting me know that you appreciated me taking my time. Again, it's not going to make or break. If you don't send me one, I'm not going to necessarily say, no, you're not getting the job. But I do know people that do and that they will not. But it also lets me know that, like, hey, they're really serious about this. They really want this job. Always follow up within a week if no response. There is no harm to that. And I appreciate it because I'm really busy and sometimes, we haven't made a decision or we're still working on it. And so if you send me an email saying, hey, I was just checking in, then I easily can write back and say, hey, we haven't made a decision. We're still mulling it over. And obviously applying to multiple places, like don't put all your eggs in your basket because, applying to multiple places is going to be really, really important for you to land the job that you really want. So that's my presentation on landing the job. Those are all my handles. If any of you want to follow me on Instagram or YouTube,